Hello, my name is Bluebear, and today I'm going to do a quick review of the Realforce 104UW board. It's my first experience with Topre, and yeah, let's come straight to the review. First impression of this board was this is surprisingly solidly built, because if I press on a case anywhere, there's really no squeaking or creaking noises. Which surprised me, because so I'm going to show you now. This keyboard is only held together by some latching tabs and no screws at all, so that's pretty good, I do have to say. The only creaking noises I could produce were if I pressed on here, which is not an issue at all, because usually there's barely any pressure on these parts, like from these sides. And yeah, another thing, because of these latching tabs, you can pull the keyboard a bit apart here, but that's also not really an issue in my opinion. Another features about the case, this cable canal, I would call it, which surprisingly doesn't go straight to the back, like straight out. Which I don't really understand, because that's just like, make a cut here and it can go straight out, why not do it? So this was kind of disappointing, but it's not really an issue. Then you have these feet, which are really snappy, as you can hear. They have no rubber on here, but since the keyboard, even if it's closed, has no rubber on there, that's not making a difference. And it's still, I didn't have any problems with it sliding around. And yeah, it's pretty, it sits pretty well. So, another thing that catched my eye really quickly was the legends. Because I do have to say I don't like them. First off, these caps are the same color scheme as the Model M, although these lack the beige tone. They're more clean, more gray and more white than beige, but that's good. That's not something I would complain about. Back to the legends. The spacing between the lines is, for example, you have backspace, which is directly under each other, the two words, and then you have caps lock, and there's like more space between the lines. Same thing, but even worse with scroll lock. Look at this, and then look at this. Like, what? Why? Then they also mixed some condensed font and some non-condensed font on these keys. And yeah, what? I don't even, you know? That's like, why would you do that, okay? Then there's the symbols here, it's below the text, here it's below the text. Here it's left of the text, and here it's right of the text, and here's no symbol at all. So, the legends seem really inconsistent, and I'm sorry, but this is not a sign of good design. This is an expensive keyboard. It costs $210 at Elite Keyboards right now, so I expected a bit better legends for that price. Like, I was disappointed in that, I do have to say. But I guess if you don't mind the legends too much, then that's not really an issue. Okay, so far to the board itself. Let's come to the switches. These are Topre switches, which are capacitive switches. They have a slider. Basically, the cap goes on top of a slider. The slider pushes down on a rubber dome. Underneath the rubber dome is a conical spring. And if that spring gets compressed, the capacity of the spring changes and the keyboard registers the key press. So that sounds pretty complex. It's not really complex. It's just an interesting technique to register key presses. So basically, this is not a real mechanical key switch. I wouldn't call it really mechanical. It's like a mixture between mechanical and rubber dome. The advantage of this is that the key activates in the middle of the key travel, and not if you press it all the way down like rubber domes. So on rubber domes you have to press them all the way down, while this you don't have to, right? And this will also most likely last longer than a usual rubber dome keyboard. So that's the Topre switch. So my first experience with this was, alright, that's bumpy, like tactile, really tactile. And then with further testing, something like really catch my eye, and that was my senses rather, and that was the ergonomical weighting this keyboard has. That means that the center keys, which are 45G, are heavier than the other keys, because your index finger is obviously stronger than your pinky. And I do have to say I'm not a fan of that at all. Like I really don't like it. Because these center keys, these are fantastic, like tactile, bumpy, really cool. But the outside ones, they feel mushy, sometimes even heavier in some way, and they're lacking tactility, like really badly. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of Topre fanboys out there, but these 35G keys, not my thing. So the weighting goes up towards the center. I'm not sure but this feels different to this one. But I'm not sure if these two are differently weighted. They both feel bad. These three feel good, and then it's just a mirror. So yeah, I don't like these light keys. These are not my thing at all. But this also has 55G keys on here, and on the escape key and on the numlock key. And these are even more bumpy than the 45G keys. Like, they require more force, obviously, but they have some very nice feedback, I do have to say. As for feeling, these feel like rubber domes, like really tactile rubber domes. Smooth. Although the 45G feels smoother than the 55, which is weird. Like, maybe you can hear that on camera, I can't promise it. That's scratchy. Well, I don't have that on the 45G. Not sure why. Maybe because this one has seen more use than this one. Surprisingly, the stabilized keys like Shift and Enter, they feel even better. Because I think they're greased or something. I read something about greased stabilized keys or something. They feel really good. Like, if these felt like the stabilized keys, that would be fantastic. The stabilizers are a bit of rattling. Spacebar not, but yeah. If you compare Shift to so there's that. What else? Yeah, they feel like high quality. They don't feel rattly or cheap. They feel solid, smooth. I would say this feels like a high quality rubber dome. And here's the thing. I like these switches. They're decent. Like, I could imagine using a 55G board for fun from time to time. But on the other side, for $210, just a higher quality rubber dome, I'm not convinced of that. I mean, if you have the money, sure, go for it, but $210 for just a better rubber dome? Because, you know, the advantage of the Topre, which I said, is that it activates halfway. With these rubber domes, you can't stop halfway. You simply can't. I don't believe anyone who says that he constantly does not bottom out with these switches, because once you're under the over the initial pressure needed, then the finger goes down automatically. So the bottom out is smooth but not mushy, like soft. I think soft is the best term for this. I'm not sure if I like the bottoming out right now, if I hate it. It's like a love-hate relationship. But it's not terrible. Like, normal rubber domes are definitely worse. So yeah, final verdict: Realforce, or especially this Realforce in particular, no. Topre switches, maybe, for a decent price. I do have to say, surprisingly, these make me think about getting some Ergo Clears, because they have a cleaner bottom out, I would call it. It's not this soft thingy, it's hard, which I like. And they have similar tactile feedback, although you can't probably make Ergo Clears which have feedback like the 55G. That's okay though. But I think for the current prices, I don't think Topre is something for me, to be honest. But yeah, I still agree that these are fun switches. So there's that. I hope this review was somewhat helpful, and hope you enjoyed this video. I'm now just gonna do some typing on the Realforce, because many people really like the sound of Topre keyboards, which I can understand. And yeah, see you next time.